First at noon, a Gresham firefighter is in critical condition. Right now, he is being treated for severe burns to nearly half of his body. Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich. Officials just sent us an update identifying the firefighter as Spencer Tejadas. He was one of 3 firefighters hurt last night at a duplex on 182nd Street near Vance Park. The other 2 were released from the hospital. Tejadas is being cared for right now at the Oregon Burn Center. We still don't know the exact circumstances that led to him getting those burns. In a statement, the Gresham Fire Chief said even with all their training and protective gear, this highlights how dangerous firefighting can be. Investigators are looking into the cause of the fire. We'll update you as soon as we get more information.
So we're going to be appealing this scam.
Another big story today, that former President Donald Trump giving his take this morning on a New York jury that found him guilty of 34 felony charges. The hush money trial marked the first time a former U.S. president has ever been tried or convicted in a criminal case. Today, Trump repeated his claim about the non-disclosure agreement that his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, paid Stormy Daniels, stating the payments were legal. President Biden also responded to the conviction this morning. Here's what both presidential nominees had to say.
Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to
appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
The judge presiding over the trial scheduled Trump's sentencing for July 11th. And our Verified team has been looking into questions about what will happen with Trump's presidential bid now that he's been convicted. For instance, would he be able to pardon himself if he becomes president again? Casey Decker has the answer.
Former President Donald Trump has been convicted by a New York jury on 34 counts of falsifying business records. The conviction won't stop him from seeking a second term in the White House or serving if elected.
Here at Verify, we got several questions from viewers asking, if he becomes president again, can Trump pardon himself from these charges in New York? Let's verify. Our sources are the New York indictment, New York penal law, the U.S. Constitution, and the U.S. Supreme Court. The Constitution gives the president sweeping powers to issue pardons, allowing them to reduce or cancel punishments for crimes. The Supreme Court has ruled that they can issue these pardons at any time after the crime has been committed, meaning they don't have to wait for a conviction. There are only 2 established limits to this power. 1, the president can't unimpeach somebody, including themselves. 2, the power applies only to, quote, offenses against the United States, meaning federal crimes. Pardons for state crimes go through a different process, which varies by state but often involves the governor or some sort of pardon board.
Trump's conviction is for state crimes, not federal. He violated New York penal law, falsifying business records in the first degree.
So we can verify, no, Trump could not pardon himself in the New York case if he gets reelected as president. Presidential pardons apply only to federal crimes. Trump is the subject of several ongoing federal criminal investigations, and whether he could pardon himself in those cases is a topic of extensive debate amongst constitutional scholars, one that would potentially have to be settled by the Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
For more of our Verify stories on former President Trump's conviction, you can go to KGW.com. Okay, back closer to home, what's on everyone's minds, Rod? The weekend, starting it off with beautiful weather.
Yeah, don't rush it. Don't rush it. It's really nice right now. This is going to be a sunnier day than we will see tomorrow, and certainly a drier day than we will see on Sunday. So coming up in my complete forecast, you can see the Pacific getting active out here. We're still calling for soaking rains to begin on Sunday, and we'll get into the cloudiness starting tomorrow, or actually overnight tonight. But for the remainder of your day, it's going to be fabulous. And you folks at the coast will probably see some clouds come in as early as late afternoon, certainly this evening. But right now it is just clear. There's Cannon Beach. Lots of folks out enjoying the tides out, the blue water. You can walk up to Haystack Rock. It is 69 degrees there. Wow. All right, here's the valley, the Dundee Hills Domain Serene Winery. Beautiful sunshine, and the same scene over downtown Portland. 66 is the temperature at noon. And I think we're on track to get up to around 78 degrees this afternoon. Your evening still looks great, 71 degrees. There is a chance for a trace of moisture tomorrow, but really most of us will just stay dry inland areas until we get to Sunday morning, and we'll use Futurecast to show you how wet your Sunday is going to be. That's ahead of my complete forecast.
Starting off the weekend right. Thank you so much, Rod. Speaking of the weekend, the Rose Festival Starlight Parade is coming up tomorrow night. Whether you're planning to attend or just trying to get around downtown Portland, definitely expect to run into some traffic. The parade goes from 8 o'clock until about 10, with a run kicking things off beforehand. Take a look at your screen. This is the route. It starts at Waterfront Park, weaves its way through downtown on Salmon, 4th Avenue, Broadway, Taylor. It then ends at Lincoln High School. Keep in mind there's also a Timbers game tomorrow night, so traffic will be particularly tough in the Providence Park area. Now to an update this noon on a crash that killed a former NBA player. The sheriff's office has now confirmed former Philadelphia 76er Drew Gordon was involved in a crash in Clackamas County. He's the older brother of current Denver Nuggets player Aaron Gordon. The sheriff's office says the crash happened shortly after 1 in the afternoon yesterday on South Springwater near Stevens Road. They're still working to determine the cause of the crash, but say they don't think impairment was a factor. According to his agent, Drew Gordon was living in Damascus near where the crash happened. He was 33 years old. To Gresham now, where a family who lost their home to a fire last weekend went back to the house earlier this week to try to salvage what they could. But as KGW's Catherine Cook reports, when they showed up, they found out looters had gotten there first.
It's kind of hard to realize how bad the situation actually is.
JT Hill is thinking of his dad and stepmom. This is their home, what's left of it, on 1st Street near Birdsdale Avenue in Gresham. It caught fire late Sunday night. JT says it started in the garage and quickly spread. JT's dad, John, was the only person home. Also inside, the family's pets, dogs, Obie and Annie.
Just the happiest dogs you could ever ask for.
And 2 cats, Hemi and Mook.
I asked if the pets made it out, and they said no. And so first thing I did was I went over and hugged my dad, and he started breaking down crying. He said he tried everything he could do to get back in to save them.
John Hill suffered smoke inhalation and minor burns and spent the night in the hospital. JT says his dad was asleep on the couch when the fire started and didn't wake up until the smoke detector went off. He's sure that's what saved his life.
It's a serious miracle. I mean, he was completely covered in soot.
On Wednesday, JT's parents returned with an investigator. They noticed 2 windows had been shattered. Once inside, JT says it was clear someone had broken in and looted the home.
I mean, anything of value was taken.
Passports, computers, clothes, jewelry, even shoes, gone.
Kind of hurts, knowing that somebody has that in their heart to do that to people. And while, we're already down, and we just lost about everything. My parents lost everything.
The family filed a police report.
It'd be nice to figure out who did this. I mean, it really would. But, criminals are criminals at the end of the day.
JT says his family is just grateful for their lives and the firefighters who responded.
They were really there for my dad.
JT's uncle started this GoFundMe to help the family get through the next several weeks. Besides their home, they lost all of their cars in the fire. For JT, it's all so hard to understand. He thinks of his dad for clarity.
His big motto is everything happens for a reason. As sucky as it is to say that, it did happen for a reason.
In Gresham, Catherine Cook, KGW News.